You are building backlinks wrong, and that's why your website is stuck. That's why you're not getting traffic and sales. I'm Stuart Vickers, known as SEO Jesus, although lately I've taken a bit of a break as SEO to head. Let me get you some traffic. And I've helped hundreds of online businesses make millions in sales through my agency and my SEO training courses. Now today I want to give you the big link building secret that very few people are actually talking about, and yet has made a massive difference in my agency for my clients. And that basically means we're able to get exceptional results with a much smaller link building budget than most of our competitors. Here are just some of the clients we've worked with as proof. This was a software company, domain rating now 70, but if we go back to when they started with us, that domain rating was just 41. And we can see they had that healthy domain rating of around 40 for years without actually getting significant traffic. And yet when our process kicked in, not only did the domain rating go up through the 50s, 54, 60, up to now 70, but the traffic took off significantly as well, up to a peak of 50,000 visitors per month. Let's just have a look at the actual value of that traffic, and that follows the same chart very nicely. So the peak traffic value was $91,000 per month. Remember, traffic does not equal sales, but traffic value can give you an indication of how likely that traffic is to actually buy from you. Another example here has been a bit up and down. This was an e-com store. And back when they started with us, they were only getting around 1,000 visitors a month. That went up to a peak of 25,000 visitors a month. And now they're at 12,000 visitors a month. So even after that peak, we've still 10x their results. And again, if we overlay domain rating over that, we can see they're making some progress, domain rating around 25 or so, but now it's up between 35 and 40. That small increase in domain rating through the actual backlinks we built resulted in a big increase in overall traffic. Let's have a look at that traffic value. And we can see very early on the traffic value actually exceeded the traffic. So right up to 2,500, up to a peak of around $5,000 per month, averaging around $2,000 to $3,000 per month. And I should note this e-com store was in the adult niche, and therefore a lot of those keywords you can't actually bid on. Therefore they have a CPC value of 0. Even though the actual traffic organically was converting really well. And then one more here, if we overlay domain rating, we can see very rapid increase in domain rating up to around 27 or so. And then soon after, this was a new website, traffic followed, exploding up to 60,000 visitors per month and approximately $24,000 per month in traffic value. Again, this is a bit of a grey hat niche, so that's only a fraction of the true value of that traffic. Now, the big secret about what makes these backlinks so effective, it's actually really quite simple. I'm going to share it with you now. Many people get hung up on the actual websites you're placing the links on. What's their DA? What's their traffic? How powerful is the website? How relevant is the website? I know from all my clients, all my fellow agency owners, people tend to get stuck going around in circles here. And they obsess over the actual website. They only want niche relevant websites, but they also want the websites to have a domain rating of more than 60 or 70. And the result is you end up with an extremely narrow pool of websites you can possibly get links from that are powerful enough and relevant enough, because ultimately your competitors are not actually going to link to you. So you have to be a bit creative. Now that puts us into a bit of a dangerous situation where we know we need to build links, we need a volume of links in order to grow, but if we're being so particular about who we actually get links from, it kind of gets impossible. But here's the fundamental truth most people are missing, and that's that Google ranks pages, not websites. If you go into actual Google Leaks, Google documentation and patents, they talk about individual documents. Very rarely do they talk about the website as a whole. It's about individual documents and how they all coordinate together. So for that reason, when we talk about niche relevant backlinks, it is the relevance of the page itself rather than the whole website you need to pay attention to. Now, of course, a website with a whole category of content around a particular subject, that probably is going to help you out, but not as much as what I'm going to share with you today. And that is, you actually want to rank your guest posts on Google. It sounds so simple, and yet many people ignore it. Most people, when they're doing link building, they'll reach out to a website, inquire about placing a guest post, they'll go into ChatGPT, knock out a guest post, and then send the website owner 500 words, and all they care about is the actual link. Now that's not wrong. That link does have power, it does have some relevance, and ultimately it will contribute to your overall success. But what do you think is going to be more powerful in Google's eyes? 500 words of random content around your subject with a link in it, or maybe 1,500, 2,000 words completely comprehensively talking about your topic that's really SEO optimized with the on page, same as you would for your own website, so that that guest post, that article, actually ranks on Google for the same keywords. Maybe not as high up as you do, but still ranking on Google nonetheless. And what that proves to us is Google actually values that content and values that recommendation. And I've seen this happen time and again. You can place a post on what really doesn't look like a particularly good website. Maybe the DR isn't very high. Maybe it doesn't have that much organic traffic. But you place this optimized article on there and suddenly it ranks on page 2 of Google. Well, then you know that website is very much alive and that link is going to count for a lot more because it's actually getting impressions for your target keywords. Here's a perfect example. I've just taken a load of links we built for a client. Again, this was quite a shady niche that's quite difficult to get links for, but we're still able to fulfill a large volume of links. And if I sort by keywords, you can actually see, this is a long time ago now, about 6 months ago. And yet you can see over time, all these guest posts are actually ranking for keywords. Not very high up, they're not getting a huge amount of traffic, but Google is valuing them. So what that basically means is on Google, if someone searches that keyword, there's our client's website at the top, but then as you scroll down, you start to see some of these guest posts all talking about the same stuff, all pointing back up to that same client. And those links are far more powerful than just a random link on a page. That doesn't make a random link on a page wrong, but you can get a lot more power, a lot more benefit if you just go that extra mile to optimize your guest post. So what does that mean? We'll just go into a correlational tool like Surfer or Page Optimizer Pro, put the target keyword you want to rank for into this tool, SEO Agency in London, UK. We talk about keyword cannibalization, where on your website, you don't want 10 pages all targeting the same keyword. But there's absolutely no reason why you can't have a hub and spoke model where your website has got one page on this topic, but then you go out and secure all these guest posts and articles on these media brands, all linking back to you. They're all also targeting that keyword and actually ranking on Google. And by doing this, you can take up a lot more what's called SERP real estate, search engine results page real estate, or basically what we generally call Parasite SEO. This was really popular 2 years ago, where you could use platforms like LinkedIn, Medium, or even major news websites, publish an optimized page, and rank that page in order to get traffic and sales. This is very much the same process, except rather than just ranking that page, we're going to rank that page and get the power and benefit into our own website as well. So the ultimate answer is, in a dream situation, you could well find that page 1 of Google has got your site at the top and then loads of your media mentions underneath it as the other results on Google, all targeting the same keyword, all pushing your competitors further down and increasing your market share. So in this case, we're taking SEO Agency in London, UK, and we've got a content score of 81. That's far above the average of 62 and the top result of 78. It's still crazy how long these tools have been available and yet so few people are actually using them. You go through most search results, especially for SEO Agency in London, you'd expect that to have a very high standard of SEO work done, and yet the majority of the results are not actually that optimized. So if you optimize your page on your website, but you also then go and optimize all your guest posts, you're in the prime position to take over as many of those top positions as possible. And what that means is 6 months, a year down the line, not only is your website ranking because of all the backlinks you've built, but actually all those guest posts you've circulated around the internet, they're all ranking and generating small amounts of traffic, as we can see here. So that's passing much more relevance, much more authority that ranks you higher, but they are also getting traffic, impressions, and clicks as well. Some of these you can see they're even ranking in the top 10 or the top 3. So this one's got 2 in the top 10, 3 in the top 10. This one's got 7 in the top 10 and actually 1 in the top 3. And so the result of that is actually 10 visitors a month. Now don't forget, Ahrefs wildly underestimates these kinds of traffic metrics. If you're ranking getting impressions, then you're probably going to get a lot more than 10 traffic a month, because of all the long tail keywords, all the variations of that keyword that don't even exist in this database. See my last video about how one of my press releases got ranked and ended up delivering me a valid lead who had never seen my website. He'd just seen my press release on a news website that was ranking in Google. So what we're talking about here is Parasite SEO with guest posts. You're leveraging the authority of all these websites you're placing content on to build your digital footprint. And of course, all of that is more ammunition to rank in AI search, because the more citations you have around the internet associating your brand with what you do, then the more likely you are to influence ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google's AI mode. AI overviews especially seem to be particularly dependent on just building that footprint, getting more posts into the top 10 of Google. And you can do that with guest posts, you can do that with press releases, And you can even do that with classic Parasite SEO like LinkedIn and Medium. Now, if all of this is exciting for you and you want to find out how you can turn a limited marketing budget into real results, then click the link below. We do still have a few strategy call spots available. We are quite selective about who we actually give these to, since they are worth a huge amount. You will sit down with my team and they will plan out a full 90-day roadmap for you, working out all the issues and opportunities with your current website. So a huge amount of value for there, but for now you can get that absolutely free. So click the link below, fill in the form, and if you're a good fit, we will get back to you. It only takes a minute to apply. So very low cost and effort to apply, but huge rewards if you are successful. So click the link below, build more links, rank your website higher, build that digital footprint, take up more SERP real estate, and get more of that training data into the future AI search.